UN General Assembly taking place, of course, in New York. One of the main topics being discussed is Syria, and it's on the front page of the Christian newspaper over here, isn't it?
That's right. Here it is on the cover of La Croix. In Syria, the United Nations are looking for a way out. Now, of course, La Croix points out that Syria civil war is on everyone's mind, but for now, there's no foreseeable solution. However, in their editorial, they point out that even though the United Nations has maybe appeared weak in the face of the Syrian crisis, it's still useful. For instance, it may be powerless in helping civilians or in stopping the fighting, but it's a very necessary actor in dealing with the crisis there, because La Croix points out that countries and regional actors can't act on their own. They really need the United Nations for legitimacy and consensus. And on top of that, La Croix points out that the United Nations does a lot more than just trying to promote peace and stopping fighting. It does a lot in terms of trying to fight against famine, promoting education and development, and of course, encouraging exchanges between different cultures.
Okay, we're talking of war. Another country going to be discussed as well is Mali.
That's right. Now, L'Humanité has a special report in Bamako where the paper says that it takes the pulse of the situation there. And it says that many people there wonder if Mali is the forgotten country. Now, of course, Islamists are controlling the north of the country where they're imposing Sharia law, and many people have now fled to the south where there's rampant misery and poverty. Now, according to L'Humanité, the whole population is waiting for a solution, but for now there's no visible way out. Now, Le Parisien points out that French President François Hollande is ready to take action in Mali. Now, this would be to support a military intervention in Mali against the terrorist group Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, which is holding 6 French hostages. Now, this intervention would be led by African countries. France would just be there for logistic support and intelligence. And this situation in Mali is going to be at the heart of Hollande's address to the General Assembly this afternoon.
Yeah, that's getting a lot of coverage in the papers as well, isn't it? His first address.
First address as president, first time since she was elected. Now, Le Figaro has this on the cover of their newspaper today. Hollande cherche ses marques. It says that in terms of foreign policy, Hollande is still trying to find his footing. And this could be an occasion for him to lay out his diplomatic strategy, because according to Le Figaro, for now it's somewhat opaque. Now, first of all, he's largely unknown, according to Le Figaro, and when he is, people do know about him. They think that he's somewhat uncharismatic. Le Figaro says that a lot of people are wondering just who is this man representing France, and Le Figaro points out that he doesn't have a tremendous amount of experience in terms of diplomacy. For instance, he's never been to China or Israel. And so a lot of his international counterparts are still trying to figure out just who he is. Now, another thing Le Figaro points out is that he has little room to maneuver on the Syrian and Iranian front. And so it's unlikely that he could use diplomacy to boost his opinion here in France, because he tends to be falling a little bit in opinion polls here.
Yeah, he could do with it, couldn't he? He's got a difficult week here in France, Hollande.
According to Le Monde, it's a dark week for Hollande. Now, starting today, one of a major pharmaceutical company here, Sanofi, is going to put in place a redundancy plan, the first of many here in France. Tomorrow, the unemployment figures are coming out. They're meant to be staggering. And then on Friday, France's government is going to explain just what it's going to do with a fiscal plan it wants to put forward, and that plan would include increasing taxes worth 20 billion euros. So on top of this, a lot of things going on for the government. The government is actually in somewhat of a pickle, because this weekend the Green Party recommended that its MPs vote against this fiscal plan when it's going to be presented to the Parliament in October. The problem is that 2 of François Hollande's ministers are from the Green Party. So it's a little bit complicated for them. And actually, Le Monde in their editorial is very harsh and says that these ministers need to step down, because saying no to Hollande's fiscal plan is incompatible with his policies. Now, L'Humanité, the communist newspaper, on the other hand, agrees with the Green Party. And they say that actually what French people want is a referendum concerning this fiscal policy. Now, it's interesting to note, however, that France's constitutional watchdog, the Conseil Constitutionnel, has said that France doesn't have to change the constitution to put in place this fiscal policy, so therefore no referendum is needed. However, a lot of people, including the Green Party, have called for a massive demonstration against this policy this Sunday.
Okay, in a pickle. Perfect way to sum it all up. Florence, thank you very much. Florence with the French newspapers on France 24. Here's the headlines then. Barack Obama, Francois